Shit, what's this podcast called?
Discourse of Human Events.
The discourse is just crazy.
Everything's okay, I'm just trying to act my age. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. I wanna look and feel years younger, baby.
1, 2, 3.
That's right. Alright. So next going over, Mike Pence
Okay.
is the one who
Let
leads the
me go
electoral
back to the
vote.
beginning,
So
because
let's-
Zach was like, hey, Nick, go ahead and tell the story about your theory about the election, and then...
We totally don't need to
worry,
record
we'll come
it.
up with a real topic. And then he thought, oh yeah, what he's saying is interesting, so let's actually record it.
That totally didn't happen. Made up.
So I had the theory for our last podcast, but we didn't talk about elections, that I wanted to say that Mike Pence, since he's going to be the one counting the electoral college votes, I'm going to recap this for 0 listeners. Since he's going to be counting the electoral college votes, he would bring out a suitcase during the vote count and just start counting them,
Yeah.
right? So, making like 8,000 for Trump and then 306 for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just crumple up the Biden votes and throw them in the trash when he got to them. Whatever. Something that would probably freak liberals out. That was my theory as to what their next strategy would be.
That's the only thing they got left. Because we're past
Yeah.
the point now. He's technically got all the electoral votes.
Yeah, well, they have to they literally get counted by the vice president in front of Congress. So Biden,
When's that
I think,
happen?
is January 6th, apparently. So that was my theory.
it's
So
not till
he's going to
January?
just say fuck you to Georgia in the whole suitcase conspiracy. He's going to pull that suitcase out from under him during the count and start counting them. But what's crazy is after this, I have learned that they actually, in the swing states, they sent extra votes. So the electoral college in the
What?
states, once they certify the vote, the state congressional body, basically, they nominate the electors, right? So, the Clintons, I guess, are electors in New York. So they say, okay, Biden won, you guys get to be the electors. But there are other electors that would have been selected in the case of a Republican win.
Okay.
Now, these Republicans still actually sent votes to Congress,
Oh my.
which they don't usually do when they lose, right?
Yeah.
And that happened in all the swing states.
Hmm.
So now the theory is why are they even doing it? Will Pence just also mix them in and read them? Or is it in the hopes that, the Supreme Court will say,
Something fishy
finally,
happened.
way after, throw those Democratic ones away, or who knows? I think there's also, some people are saying if there are 2 objections from the Congress, this part isn't in the Constitution. I think there was, some... During Rutherford B. Hayes' election, there was apparently a contested vote, and there was a lot of legislation passed. So I think if there are objections from the senators counting the votes, in which if Pence just started reading the fake Trump votes, they would obviously object. But then it maybe activates this other legislation, and that's where you can really get into the weeds on this legal stuff.
Dude, they're trying to do some weird shit.
I'll wait until January 6th and I will find out what happens.
Yeah, they're still trying, clearly, to do something.
Like I said, I think they definitely have paths. Theoretically, the president can declare...
What's their percent at now on bravado?
Oh, it's on predicted.
Oh, predicted.
Trump is at 4%, I think. So last time I think we were talking with Rory, he was around 15%.
Yeah.
And then it's really fun to watch, like, as news comes out. That's how you can tell when something's bullshit or not. Is go look at the betting.
And
Like,
what
I
is
think
it
after-
at now again? Sorry.
Predict it.
What's it at now?
Oh, 5. Like 4 or 5%.
Oh, so he's super low now.
Yeah, it fell from about 15. But like
they're
you can
still
tell
saying
which
there's a
stories are full of
chance.
shit and which aren't because the odds will change when it's like, oh, that's a real thing. Like once after the Texas thing, he had fallen to about like 10% after a few more rulings lost. But after the Texas thing, he went down to like 4
What was the
or
Texas
5.
thing? The Texas lawsuit went out?
Yeah. When the Supreme Court, I think it was a 2-7. They declined to hear, right?
Okay. Yeah, they just said we're not even going to hear it. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And like if you read ahead, they said that was probably going to happen, but it was not. Like again, they didn't think the other two would have objected. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
True.
So they're like, yeah, they'll probably all object, but I don't know.
I mean, it's weird that they're trying all these things, though. Like, it's such a weird time.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, I'm not going to say 0% like Rory. Like, dude, like, you throw enough shit at the wall.
Well, that
something's
was
gonna
just
stick,
biases
maybe.
coming in where he absolutely doesn't think it's going to happen. And he
Yeah.
absolutely doesn't want to have it happen.
Yeah. That's where I think, like, and, like, so many people on the Trump side think he's going to be president. Like, 100%. Like, there is no way he won't be president still.
Yeah.
Like, he's at 4%.
Dude, it's weird.
I know. It's like religion. I swear to God, it's so a religion.
Yep.
That's what just disturbs me about it. Is like...
It's so creepy. It's the religious
Yeah.
zealot, like, people anyways. Like, the zealots of religion. Like, the people that are all fundamentalist about their religions are fundamental about Trump.
Yeah.
It's
It's the same the other way, too. Like, what was the...
I wouldn't call leftists more fundamentalist. I mean, clearly there are.
I think they are.
But
They're so... I mean, both. They're just...
But
their side is 100% right in whatever they... I would say sometimes I feel the Republicans believe crazier shit.
yeah.
Some of it's, like, really out there.
Well, I
but
feel like...
still, I feel like at least the left has, like, very strong belief in whatever the main narrative is.
I will give you that, but I think they're less religious about it, and especially, like, they don't have a Trump, right? They have people they like.
Oh.
But there's no, like, crazy
Yeah.
Trump.
I mean,
like,
I think it's more diverse in general, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's kind of the whole Democratic theme, is it's more diverse.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I get that. But I do think they're both basically... They have completely become religions now.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't
weird.
think it was like that 20 years ago.
I think it was
people-
like that, but less
Yeah.
swingy. Like, you're either right or you're either left. There's no in between.
Yeah.
There's no
yeah.
nuance to
Exactly.
opinion.
I felt like alone as a libertarian then.
Yeah.
Now, you're like, you people are fucking nuts.
Yeah, for real.
It's fun to watch, though. Like, I try to not be watching politics, but sometimes it's like, I don't know. Like,
It's impossible
what
with
are
what's
they gonna
going on
try
right
next? Yeah, like, that's the thing, is I was so trying not to pay attention, and then all this post-electoral craziness happens, and it's just so interesting to watch. I think I'll always give Trump. He is the most entertaining.
I mean, that's true. We've never had such a oddball president, like doing
Not
just-
in our lifetime. They've been there before, but like current times, no, they've all been pretty.
But modern times, especially when you're on TV.
Yeah.
Like, so even if a president was that odd, you probably wouldn't know it.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah.
So now we can go past the politics stuff, because we wanted to do a different one until I started with.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I would mention that last time, but then I didn't.
Yeah. It is interesting. I can't wait for January 20th when he actually is inaugurated.
And it's all done.
And then, like, people are still going to say he's not the president, though. It's not all done.
Oh, yeah.
You think Trump people are going to be done when that happens? No.
No, but if he's in the White House, the military is taking his commands. It's just Russiagate, right?
Yeah.
It's just them saying he's illegitimate.
Yeah, exactly.
Same that they were doing to Trump. He's illegitimate. And then it's just that point. I mean, he's still calling the shots, so it doesn't matter.
And just hope there's
it's
no
gonna be
backlash.
political. Yeah.
That's mostly what I think happens at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit a thing so I can
What is that?
have a marker to see what we're going to talk about next when I edit.
Oh, okay. What are we going to talk about?
So let me see.
Oh, yeah, I
here.
can see your screen. I keep getting confused about, like...
Oh, yeah, it's cleaning
I'm
stuff
talking.
up.
Is it not tracking me? Oh, that's Zach talking. Never mind.
Oh, is it tracking my Audacity?
Yeah, I see your Audacity.
Oh, here, let
And I
me...
have to look at my other screen. But
There we go.
Never mind.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm. We've done the business plans, I think, like twice.
Yeah, we have. That's why there's so many listed.
Well, selling requires no talent.
We do need to do a year in review sometime.
Prostitution. Oh, that is such a great one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We need to do year in review, like, of a past year sometime, especially with the comparison of 2020. I was thinking maybe do 2010 sometime.
They'll all be so
Not for
boring,
this
but
one,
yeah,
but...
I think that's a good idea. 2010, like
Yeah.
a decade in review.
We should wait till we have more people for that one. I was thinking this makes memes would be funny if we generated a bunch of memes.
I feel like that's hard. I don't know.
It's a more creative episode. Maybe one we should prepare for if we do it.
Yeah, that I like. Prepare, then
Yeah.
we put them out there.
A lot of the ones we have are like things we need to be creative for and need probably some. Oh, listener mail. I like that. Make up listener mail and answer questions about the show.
So much of these require work before, which we never
Yeah.
do. The Discard actually reads an article, not a headline. I like that. Read the fucking bill.
Yeah.
Supreme Court decisions. I feel like now would be the time, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Ways to scam.
I actually scanned through not that one, but another decision that was great on Reddit that was posted after one of the Supreme Court decisions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was funny. It was like, it was referring to the lawyers as morons that were basically writing their things on crayon. Because they were both idiots.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't think any of these, like, apply. That's the problem with this list. That's something we need to work on. So if we're ever going to take this seriously, we need to have an episode, like, not an episode, but get on for an hour and just work on things we should do throughout the year.
Yeah, I think that's how we got this at one point, so
Yeah.
we should do that again.
Because there's also, like, I eventually want to make a script or write something using the world we did.
Oh,
What
yeah,
we did
yeah.
the adventure,
Okay.
like, actually write something about that. Like,
I think, like, I actually thought my plot was fairly good.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
needed
I
a
think it
little
would
work, but I think it was fairly good.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to basically write a show using that.
Yeah. Cell phone is invented in that world, and it's a secret from the government. I think that's a great one.
Yeah, no, I think it... I mean, obviously we'd have to take out some weird stuff like Josh desecrating bodies and stuff.
Yeah, and Chloe... No, I think we leave Chloe selling her chicken spice in.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's some comic relief. Prank calls. Who do we prank call?
We create conspiracy theories. We've done that one. Oh, man, we weren't even good because of the bird theory.
Yeah, we did that one, but we sucked.
Yeah. I feel like every politics show almost always results in government structuring ideas.
It does a lot of times. Because we just talk about what's wrong with our government and then try to fix it.
We'll list topics here. One day.
One day.
Let me see if I can think of a good philosophical. philosophy. You can see I'm drunk. Philosophy topic.
This is actually a good one. Top 3 list.
Yeah, we've already done a few. So what other things other than
I don't know if we...
movies?
Have we done top 3 lists before?
Yeah, we did it with Corey, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
I forgot about that episode. Well, I have tomorrow's episode coming out, and then next week's scheduled, so we're ahead of schedule on releases now.
What? That hasn't happened in years.
That happened a few months ago, and then I get lazy and forget that I have those all pre-done.
Terrorist strategies. We've done that one, sadly.
Somehow, we've done it. Well, we can stop looking at this. I don't think there's anything good on there that we can use now. But I think we should use this and actually pre-plan.
You want to pre-plan now?
No. Like, next time... Well, because next time we'll probably do the year 2020.
Yeah, will you have time off after, like, sometime in the next 2 weeks?
No, but I'll have the normal days off, you know?
Like Christmas, like...
Yeah, Christmas I'll have off.
Not just Christmas Day?
Yeah. Or Christmas Eve I think I have off, too.
Oh, you don't have the rest?
No.
Oh, alright.
Just Christmas.
Well, I got nothing to do. Maybe I'll make a list.
There we go. And I was thinking, like,
I'll
before
check it twice, Zach. I'll find out who's naughty and nice.
Every time we schedule one, we'll have to send out which one we do, and I think we should put like a numbering, like ones we want to do the most. Start ordering them.
Let's come up with just one, and do it right the fuck now.
On this?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Let me put this back on the sharing then, so you can see it.
Oh, I think thing is like just Google interesting questions.
I do like
what
listener mail.
What would you name your boat if you had one?
I do like listener mail, like coming up with fake listener mail. I think that'd be funny.
Again, we should separate. We should have a marker. Have to prepare, not have to prepare.
Boop.
I'm gonna say deep questions because we need to get a fucking hour out of this.
What's that?
Hold on. Yeah, we're just gonna talk deep questions. I think that's it.
Deep questions? You have some questions available?
Okay, yeah.
All right. You ready to start back up again?
Not.
Let me know when you're ready. I'll clap a couple times for editing.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Ready?
Sure.
All right. Well, let's move on to asking some deep questions. Now that we're done with politics. Now that we got that out of the way. Wait. You ready?
Okay.
This is Deep Questions with the Discourse of Human Events.
How
They're
have
so
your
deep.
priorities... Oh, okay. I don't know how long that's going to go. How have your priorities changed over time?
Ooh, that's interesting. I don't feel like I prioritize creativity as much as I want to. Mostly because I don't have time for it, or I'm so burnt out from work that creativity is harder for me to get started. And usually creative things like writing or anything like that were one of the things I always wanted to prioritize, but now it's harder to get started on that.
That's interesting. Like, I think, well, I guess I can see that. Sometimes I have, like, side projects, and now I don't anymore.
Yeah, like,
what really changes media consumption? Like, I don't play nearly as many video games, watch nearly as much TV.
So I feel like I watch a lot of quote unquote TV, but it's like YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's stuff.
You know, like YouTube videos, things on Reddit, like Our Public Freak Out.
But it's weird how much that's changed over time. Like, when we were both teenagers, I think you and I would both watch the same movie, like, over and over if it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I rarely watch the
One
same
Crazy
movie over
Summer,
and over.
like 25 times.
Yep.
I just got Chloe to watch Austin Powers with me.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah, but I realized, like, I remembered the jokes I liked the most, but for the most part, I had forgotten almost all of it because I hadn't seen it in, like, 20 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but, like, I had watched it, like, 10 times back
Were there
then.
parts you laughed at that you forgot about? Like, funny parts? Or were most of the funny parts the things you remember?
Yeah. I definitely remembered the funniest parts. Like, because that was one we had watched probably, like, 20 times when it was out.
Yeah.
So,
and
but there were
quoted
still
multiple
parts,
times.
like, I didn't remember the general plot, really. Like,
yeah, I don't remember that at all.
How the sequence of events.
Well, I remember...
But there were, like, when he does the pee joke, where it's, like, evacuation. I did not remember that at all. That was new to me. I was surprised I didn't remember. But I did remember. I always loved the joke. 5.
Yeah.
I'll stay. I also like to live dangerous. That always cracked me
That's
up.
a classic
I would never
one, yeah.
forget that. But then again, like, you watch it again and you don't even laugh because
you've heard
know
it.
But how did I watch it 20 times in a sequence when I was like 15, right?
Yeah.
Because that had to have gotten old then, didn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe it didn't. I don't know.
It's also one of those things you quote so many times. It's like part of comedy is surprise or recall, but it's so recalled in your memory.
Some of those things just become ingrained in your head that like there's no way it could ever surprise you again.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let me see if I remember the plot in it. Basically, Dr. Evil is cryogenically frozen and he's unfrozen, and so he's evil again, and he I know he does something and tries to demand like $1 million, and obviously it's a low sum.
Yeah, that's basically what I remember too. He tries to blow up the world, but there are other things here's another joke I forgot, and it doesn't really work that well anymore. Was he starts naming things that he would do instead, but since he was frozen in the 60s, they're things that have already happened. Like, he's gonna, frame whatever the prince that married Diana was.
Oh, yeah.
Frame them as having an affair.
Now that you say it, I remember that.
The royal family pays them a hefty sum. And it's like, that already happened. It was definitely much funnier 20 years ago, like right after that happened.
Yeah.
But now it's not funny at all.
Because now the joke would be like 9/11 or more important things.
Yeah.
That's where number 2 like kind of coughs and goes, that also already happened.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't even know if I got that joke then, or some of them I might not have even gotten. Like,
I think you got the basics of it's an event that already happened.
Yeah, but I didn't know specifically. Maybe I heard Diana, but when I was 15, I didn't know shit about the royal family. I still don't know that.
Yeah,
but at least I know that.
Yeah. True. You actually know who Princess Diana is.
Yeah. So, and I think other things like, I don't even know if I knew who Liberace was when he made the I can't believe Liberace was gay joke. But then 10 years later, there was the movie with I think Matt Damon, and he was Liberace's lover in the movie. I forget who played Liberace. He was blatantly gay, out there, way totally gay.
Yep.
Now that joke is funnier to me because I actually seen. Yeah, but other than that, I just counted on mom and dad telling me like everyone knew Liberace was gay. Yeah,
exactly. Going back on that priorities and with creativity, the reason I thought of that too is I kept like all the comics and stuff I made throughout high school and shit.
Oh, yeah.
How many things we just did just as like sheer, like this is what we do. Yeah. We would do creative stuff just like because we had free time.
Yeah, I remember our 3 Little Indians, and I wrote that 5-line stories thing.
Mm-hmm.
And our game.
I had the comic, The Random Philiacs.
Yeah, and I remember I actually spent like such a long time creating like this play D&D online thing, and I never even used it. Never once.
You
but
develop skills
cool.
that way over time.
It's true. But yeah, I think that has totally helped me get a job, like, you know, kind of developing that stuff.
Yeah, that's something I wish I had more free time to do, and I probably do. It's probably more motivation as well after work doing things like that.
I think it's both the same with how I said I don't watch movies and like play video games nearly as much, because like when I start, and I think it's just part of being in the middle part of your life, you say, what am I getting out of this? Like, do I get money at the end? Do I get advanced? Like, no. The answer to all of those is no. But I think I'm enough into my older age that I'm starting to be like, man, I fucking really want to get back to it.
Yeah, and I think we're probably more harsh on if there's money or stuff. Like, back in the day, we didn't think that, and we just did it, and we did develop skills.
I thought I was going to be poor no matter what. What do I care?
Exactly. But you do develop skills accidentally from doing stuff. Like, I know how to use Photoshop and InDesign and all these programs because I wanted to create things like board games and stuff. Like, I understand these programs strictly because of things were never paid for.
Yeah.
Have I ever been paid for from this podcast? No. But I know how to use Audacity and audio editing software now? Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to see if you'd do a podcast at some point like that is way more targeted.
I thought about doing it multiple times, but it's more a motivation issue.
I think we'd actually have a chance. Yeah, I think we'd have a chance at an audience, a real audience.
Well,
like maybe even breaking the thousands number.
I think we would easily if we actually targeted an audience.
Yeah,
just from the skills we have.
A lot of things, like what were ones you would want to do?
Well, so I've always thought about doing magic, but there's so many that I've steered away from that idea. Just because there's just so many.
Yeah, that's the thing, finding a niche.
Another thing is you need somebody to do it with, because I think podcasts with one person obviously just aren't doable. So if we can think of a podcast you would like to do, maybe the discourse could be retired eventually. If we could think of a very specific podcast. Or if a very specific podcast gained traction, the discourse could gain listeners from that.
Yeah. That's what I've
thought about.
Yeah, I really like this no real format.
Yeah, same. But it's impossible to get listeners from that unless you're a goddamn comedian or something.
Oh. I think this was actually, I don't think you had this in my in the Excel sheet for ideas.
Okay,
show ideas.
I'll put this in here. Go ahead.
But I know I've mentioned this before.
Yeah, what's your idea?
I would suggest not just an episode, but this could be a whole podcast. Ride the coattails. Do you remember me mentioning
Yes.
this? And like we could pick so many popular podcasts and just right after we talk about their podcast and release it as like a companion, and we ride their coattails to fame. So Joe Rogan releases a really good one. I think there's actually already one that is.
There is already a Joe Rogan companion podcast.
But we find ones that are slightly less popular.
It's
Joe
not
Rogan
a bad
level.
idea.
Yeah, I think that could definitely get like an audience, because people would maybe want to hear more. Some morons talk about it, and I would be a moron talking about it.
You know, a good one is Stuff You Should Know.
Oh, I feel people have told me that, but I don't know if I've ever listened to one.
It's basically like, remember the bathroom readers that were just a bunch of random facts? It's like that. Like, every episode is just like, we're going to discuss the history of toilet paper or something. Like, how toilet paper works.
Okay, Zach.
Like, the nuances of this or the nuances of that.
Spinning off this may be very discoursian. Maybe just one episode.
Uh-huh.
Stuff you probably shouldn't fucking know.
Stuff you probably shouldn't know?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. One thing, also, if you want a lot of listeners, is to not make it profane, though.
Oh, now that's hard. That's where it stays discoursed, because I was thinking like
stuff
real
you probably
instances
shouldn't
of
know.
necrophilia would be topic number 1.
That's
you
actually
gotta
not a bad idea to have a podcast called Stuff You Probably Shouldn't Know, and do topics that podcast would never do, and ride the whole coattails of that just from the name alone.
Yeah, I think that would work.
I think we have a good podcast idea if we do want to do a second podcast right there.
Stuff you probably shouldn't know.
I put it in the street.
It's hard to fill a whole thing, but I bet we could if we. But that requires effort. You got to do research.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes though, research could be pulling up a Wikipedia and a couple articles, and just breeze through it and then start talking about it. We could do the first episode on necrophilia as a test and see how it goes.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea.
I really like that idea of that podcast.
I'm gonna get so much necrophilia in my search history if I'm really doing research and trying really hard on this.
Yeah, because you could go through the history of it, how many people have been charged with it, what kind of like childhood people typically have to get to that level.
I don't know how many people write novels about my experiences with necrophilia, but there's probably more on the internet than you'd want to know.
Yeah, I was about to say, you probably could dive deeper than you would want from that. But that's a good first episode. That's a good example of what the podcast would be, right?
Yeah.
Like you could have serial killers.
We could do. Serial
like
killers.
All kinds of
I feel
weird
like
stuff.
there's too much of that. Lots of people would want that.
Yeah, but that's
I want to
just
go
saying.
on things you definitely don't remotely need to know.
All things about defecation.
Oh yeah, different types of poop.
Yeah.
What I think you got to get even further to what you should not know is like, can we find people that have tasted poop?
Oh,
and
like poop fetish
about,
people.
What's that?
Poop fetish people, like the whole history of 2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Shit like that.
Yeah, this is a good idea. I'm ready to launch a new podcast.
Yeah, I am too. I'm ready on this idea. We could definitely do test podcasts on it too. That's a lot of times too. What you do with a new podcast is you record like 5, so you're ahead of schedule, and then you start releasing them. So when you record one, you already have like 3 in the bag.
And then I think like you see if it gains traction. Like we go to like 10 episodes, and then if nobody's picking it up, no one cares, then we just drop it and we try a new idea.
Yeah.
That's how you actually succeed in life, I think.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The discourse has just always been a fun podcast to do because it's like, hey, let's bullshit with each other and have fun talking about random shit.
Yeah. And I think...
And it requires mostly no preparedness. Though I think our episodes where we do prepare are usually better.
Probably a little bit.
Sometimes... our off-the-cuff ones are our best episodes.
I think they're definitely more interesting to us because sometimes you just say shit you wouldn't even think about.
Yeah, exactly.
But, no, I think there's a lot of value in doing even just a little prep. Like, an hour
just
of
a little.
And we could get a solid podcast just spinning off that crap.
Yeah. And like I said, if we did like, hey, let's do a Discourse Creates Memes, create like 2 or 3 memes, the amount of discussion we can have off of everybody making 2 or 3 memes and trying to make those popular would be a lot.
Yeah.
Well, so far I'm really down for that as a podcast idea.
All right, I think we should try it.
All right. Well, we sidetracked from what we were talking about, though, because that's what we do here on the Discourse.
Deep questions.
We knucking around.
Let's go on. That's why I love these Discourse episodes. Sometimes you just go on random shit.
Yeah. All right, let's hear it.
What are you most proud of?
Most proud of?
Is it sad if you can't think of anything?
The thing that immediately jumped to mind is Solar Draft, because it's my first published board game.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, that's the immediate thing that came to mind. Now, what's your most proud? Marriage, good job.
Yeah, marriage was good. Yeah, maybe just marriage. Sometimes it's weird to think of married.
Yeah. It is a different life than you probably expected.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. Did you ever think you would be living in California, working for
That's true.
a tech company?
Yeah. Life takes definite turns.
Yes.
I'd just be... Honestly, the thing, like, I'm most proud of, like, I never thought I'd have as much, cash as I have now. Like, I never thought I'd be...
Just wealth. General
very
wealth.
comfortable. Like, I've told Chloe before, I think you and I, we didn't realize how poor we were. We were kind of poor.
Yeah. No, never.
No,
it took probably till, like...
a lot of luck, but,
Yeah. I think it took till I started working to realize growing up we didn't have money.
Yeah.
And I could, like, afford stuff, and I was, like, slowly able to get a better job. And when I first got, like, a $30K a year job, I was like, holy shit, like, this is, I think, what our parents might have made combined for a while.
Yeah, I remember, like, man, like, just getting my first job out of college, I think it was 40,000 or something, 40 something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so like, holy shit, am I really worth that much? Will they really pay me that? And now the crazy thing is, like, I think that's so little. Like,
yeah, now I think it's underpaid for people.
Fucking like, insulted if somebody offered me that. And
yeah, well, that's how I feel.
Like, yeah, you just skyrocket to a point where that's like... And I remember looking at the other jobs, like, where it required a little bit of experience, like 10 years experience.
Yeah.
And then thinking, 80,000? Oh, I'll never make that much. Those people are rich as shit.
Yeah.
And now I just think, that's not much. That's very underpaid for me.
Dude,
just like, that's crazy.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, if I made 80,000, I'd be a very happy camper. I think I could live quite comfortably off of 80,000.
See, you think so. But when you get there, the thing you notice is you start working with other people that make more, and they do less, and that's part of the problem. Is like,
the more money you make, the less you can do.
Yeah, well, it's just.
Do you mean they do less as in they do less work, or they do less as in they have less time?
They do less, and they're probably not as competent as you. And so that's partially what drives, like, the want to go higher is, like, it's not that I even want the money. It's just, like... You want
competency in those roles?
Yeah, if they're getting it, of course. Yeah. I should. And
well, we went over this, though. It's the skill set you don't have is the social ability of those roles that is required sometimes to get to those salaries.
That's true. Like, positions. I think some people, like, they can't do the actual job, but man, can they kiss ass.
Mm-hmm. They can kiss ass. They know whose ass to kiss, and they also probably know somebody already.
Yeah. But still, that's like, seeing that, I think, is often what drives me to go, like, I'm going to go to a different company, and that gets you a raise usually. And, like, that kind of thing. And I think it goes back to the last question, is, like, and then to think that most of this came from me fucking around going, I want to make a 5-line story program for me to write dumb shit. Because it really did. It was mostly this dumb fucking shit. Because like I said,
you learned how much programming just from that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I know HTML from that.
Yeah.
Like just HTML is not useful now, though. Like, I know HTML and CSS a little bit, and that's all just from fucking around, making websites that never became anything but just fun things to do.
Yeah, and that's one of the weird things when I'm, like, around my coworkers is, like, almost all of them, not quite all, but almost all of them were from probably at least middle class families, and I think we were more working class.
Yeah.
And like they were going to college, definitely. Like their parents wanted them to be engineers or wanted them to be doctors, or they definitely were going to do one of those things.
You had to have a position. Like, here's the jobs that are going to make you enough money in life. Get one of these.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that makes me look at them and think I should be getting more than you, because not just I'm more competent, I actually learned this out of passion. And that's why I'm more competent, really.
Because you still have the passion to want to learn more. You didn't get to the point where you're competent and stop.
But not in the company. I hate working with some people. But
that's the other thing. I feel like that kills so much of my creativity sometimes, is working for a company where I never have to be creative.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's not
once.
not just that you don't have to be creative. It's that if you are, or you try to be creative, that is the surefire way to get, like, just destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's not a thing they
want. Everyone will
want.
just come fucking down on you. Like, nobody wants your good idea to be better than their shit fucking ideas.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many things in, like, the programs we use where I'm just like, how is this still, like, this is the early 2000s at best program. Like, you type in phone numbers, and it's 3 separate boxes, so you can't, like, paste into it. It has no, like, knowledge.
No,
like, you could type ABC if you wanted to, and it'd be like, hey, that's not a phone number, you asshole.
I've seen how this shit gets made. Like, it is 90% politics, 10% competence.
Yeah. It's fucked.
It's just shocking. But anyway.
What was the question that led to this? Oh, thing you're most proud of.
What are you most proud of?
Somehow we got from thing we're most proud of to why we fucking hate our jobs.
Yeah. Well, it's like, because honestly, what do you spend most of your day, most of your life doing in the last, like, month? Most of your job. So that's what's at the top of your mind, and that's what you think about a lot.
Dude, I try not to. I try not to so much, but it's so hard.
No, I was just downstairs a little before we were doing this podcast, trying to watch a YouTube video, and like I was 10 minutes in, and I realized I have no motherfucking idea what this guy is thinking, because I am just thinking about that asshole that left review comments in my code that I think doesn't make any sense because he's an idiot, and how do I have to respond to him by not calling him an idiot, but letting him know that he's wrong. like I'm just like, that's just 10 minutes. I did not listen to a single word from that video.
Yeah.
But I just realized, why does this infect the rest of my life?
Yep. So one of the rules Nicole and I had on vacation was not to talk about work, like, basically the whole time.
That's a good work.
So.
She's not in insurance.
No, but we're both customer. Like, we're not facing. I am not, but she's customer facing, and I have to talk with customers on the phone. Oof. And so we have the same stress you have with coworkers, but with customers, right?
That's one
and coworkers sometimes.
But I think I have it better. I guess in when we were both working at this grocery store, that's when maybe the only time I've ever been customer facing in my life. And I was a teenager, so, like, they know you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But even then, like, that's... Like, I feel like I at least work with professional people, which are, like, upper class, middle class. Like, there's a certain set of values there.
Mm-hmm.
Where,
and
like,
guidelines.
They won't get that bad. Like, they're not gonna say crazy racist shit. Let's say that. They would never say stuff like that.
Which a local grocery store and customers sometimes do that still today with me.
Yeah, like, I see stuff online of, like, people that are customer facing, and I think maybe you've told me things.
Yep.
Like, where if I had to deal with those people, I'd lose my fucking mind. Like, because I don't, like, there's no way I could not go off on them.
Oh,
like,
dude,
I don't know how people do it.
Just a couple weeks ago, I had a guy telling me about the accident, and he seemed nice at first, and then he got into the accident, and he's like, and she looked Indian or something. She didn't even speak any English, so she probably isn't even legal, and, you know, she probably doesn't have a real driver's license, like, obviously, like, super racist shit, and I was just like, oh my god, dude, I was liking you, And now I don't even want to listen to anything you say, and if I can make you at fault, I will.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what the customer-facing world is. And right now, during the pandemic and COVID, customer-facing is #1 worst job. Any customer-facing, especially restaurants or grocery store workers. Dude. It's so bad. Like, think about if you had to deal with customers that walked in without wearing a mask and you have to tell them to leave and they do their whole, like, you're taking my rights. Like, because there's people that have to deal with that every single day.
See, like, that's where I almost want the job. Only because when they say, you're taking me my rights, I would, like, put my 2 fingers up to my, like, right below my nose, and then, like, get in formation and do the Nazi salute. Like, yes! Like, start marching like a Nazi.
Just do something purposely to get fired, basically.
But the worry is that maybe I start doing that, like, okay, he's somewhat on our side.
It's like, oh, never mind. I didn't know you're with us, buddy.
Anyways.
So actually, this reminds me of something I did recently get into, and I never thought I would. For the longest time, I avoided TikTok.
I think I've seen videos posted on Twitter, and I just joined Twitter in 2020.
Bro, I'm telling you, I did not expect to like it, but it is addictive. It's
really?
like, it's videos that you just like, I think they're kind of like Vines, but they're limited like maybe like 30-second long to 45-second long videos. And you just like swipe when you're done. And like you like them and you subscribe to people, so eventually your feed becomes, and it's an endless loop. Like, you can go endlessly for hours if you wanted to.
Really?
But some people have like funny skits. Like, it kind of reminds me of like Newground days where you'd watch videos made by people, but there'd be like more cartoons and stuff like that. Like, some people are just have really creative and funny TikToks.
Do they get paid? They do, right?
I probably, if you're big enough, you can probably end up getting sponsors or something, or maybe TikTok pays you.
Huh.
Eventually.
Maybe I should try it. Like, my impression from what... And this is why you can't, like, watch the media, because my impression of it... Like, if you ask me what is mostly on TikTok...
Yes.
It is teenage girls dancing provocatively. And I was like, well, I don't want to fucking do that.
So
I'm not downloading that goddamn thing.
That's how it started. And you'll get those when you first download it and you first go through. I told you have to like
they're
like
testing.
Videos.
Are you a pedophile? Yes
exactly.
Or no?
You have to like videos. If you start liking those videos, you're gonna get more of those kind of videos.
Huh.
But I like there's also like a lot of like things that end up on Reddit that you'd see before people, like where they have those like customers refusing to wear a mask, or just like random things happening on the streets or
somewhat
out in public.
I don't know if I'll like it swipe right if you like it or something.
No, you swipe up to see the next video, and there's like a little heart button that you hit if you like the video.
I can see how that might be bad for you, because sometimes like I see stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like customers being assholes.
Yeah.
Right? And it just makes you angry.
Yeah, but you don't have to watch those. You just move on to the next one if that's not what you want your feed to be.
But you might want to see more, because like once you get into that feeling of anger, like it's hard to de-escalate and try to not be angry. Like you just want to fuel that anger. And like that's how you cascade, into this like bad place. And like,
but don't forget there's also funny videos. I
try not to follow politics, is like when I got into that, like, because I just get angry at everybody. Like, but my side never wins. And, like, there's... Yeah. So I will just get down into rabbit holes and get even more, like, depressed and apathetic. Like, that kind of thing.
But there's also funny videos. That's what you got to remember. There's also people just doing skits. I
stop myself from going into one of those holes. Like, oh, that fucking asshole.
Yeah. So that'll break up the minutia. It's not all those videos. Like, you'll be angry, and the next video will be some funny skit, Somebody doing something funny, or somebody, like... Sometimes there's fake pranks, which are dumb. But, like, some people do funny pranks, or... They'll tell, like, their grandma or somebody, like, a funny joke or something like that. Like, there's all kinds of different stuff on there. And that's why it's addictive. It's just... It's a lot of like quick 40, 30-second videos, and you're on to the next one.
Yeah.
But
That
it
would be
definitely
great
has
for
an
my
addictive
attention span.
aspect to it for sure.
Oh yeah, like do you know who Bo Burnham is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got famous from Vine videos that, like, when you watch them, they're
Yeah.
pretty clever and smart and hilarious.
Yes.
He's also a great comedian, like, if you watch him.
Yeah,
But,
so
like,
there's-
I think that's where he, like, became a star from that
Yep,
one platform.
that's exactly what he became famous for. And TikToks are just Vines, but a little longer. That's all it is. I think the problem with Vine is they didn't do advertising, and that killed them, obviously, because how the fuck are you going to survive without advertising?
Yeah.
But just give it a try.
I might, now
See
that
if
you...
you like it.
I think you might have been the reason I actually tried Twitter, and, like...
It's another
actually-
thing to
it's-
check.
Yeah, it's in my daily life, but, like, the first month I was, like, crazy into it, and now it's, like... It does creep up on you, like, now I do check it, like, several times a day. It's not
Right?
like I was crazy into it, but
Yeah.
now I can't stop myself from being like, what are random fucking people saying on Twitter?
Yeah, it's a fun little feed to have, and, like, you tailor it to yourself, and it becomes interesting.
Yeah.
So
I'll
try
give
out
a
TikTok.
try.
It'll
I
prob-
might find out I'm a pedophile. I don't know. We'll see which way I swipe.
It'll also be a fun thing, like, Nicole will sit there and watch it with me, too, because there's just funny things to watch, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, what's our next question? Because we're going on
Yeah,
good tangents with one
we can
question.
really spitball with this random shit.
This is what discourse is best about, going in rabbit holes.
See, what's the one thing you cannot live without? Is it too wide?
I mean, besides obvious things, are we?
Like oxygen. Okay, we got you. Good joke.
like
What
the
else?
oxygen. Like absolutely couldn't live without.
See, I don't think this is a good question, because other than the obvious ones,
It's not.
I think I can adapt. Like, no
It's
matter
just probably
what.
like, what's your favorite thing that you absolutely want in your
Here's
life?
what I'll spin off of. Well, yeah, okay. Is there one thing you absolutely want?
I would harken back to the first question. Probably be something artistic in my life or creative.
Yeah, but that's something no one can take away from you, I don't think. Like, that's something, like...
Yes.
So it's a great thing to think you can't live without it, because you can never lose it.
Because, like, I initially thought, like, a computer or something. I'm like, you know what? If somebody probably took away all my technology, it might be a better life for all I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, like, I'm adaptable. So, like, my response to the question is, like, other than the, like, I'll die without air, obviously,
Yeah.
is, like... You just gotta be adaptable. Like, put you in a prison cell, you have nothing. I actually always thought, like...
No, you're not
what's
going to say the same thing I thought.
The solitary confinement?
Yeah.
It actually doesn't sound that crazy. I'd be like... I feel like I'd get a lot done.
That's what I say.
Interesting things.
I feel the same thing. I'm like, you know what? Like, people, like, talk about prison. I'm like, sometimes it sounds like an amazing thing because I'd have so much time to do all the creative projects I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'd be forced to
So
do
much
them.
Free time. It's great. We
Yeah,
have
I'd
nothing
have-
better to do.
I'd have no other choice but to, like, read, write, and create stuff.
We must be related or something.
Weird. But you're right.
Yeah.
I think in the end we're just adaptable to our environment.
Yeah, and I never understand that about every time somebody, like, they kill themselves. I guess
Yeah.
maybe chemical imbalance, I understand, but, like, people, like, lose their job, their wife leaves them, whatever it is, they kill themselves. I always think, like, no matter what it is, no matter what, you can always just adapt. Like, I never understand those people. Like,
Yeah,
I can't get
yeah.
inside their mind. It doesn't make sense.
I totally get it too. I can't get there, but some people just have dark depressions and dark pasts that, like, haunt them. You know what I mean? We don't have
But I'm
that.
talking, like, losing their job and kill themselves, or their wife leaves them and kill themselves.
But I feel
or
like
whatever
that's-
it is, like that. Like,
that's
it's
a
thing they couldn't
catalyst,
live
right?
without.
I feel like that's just a catalyst. Like, they already have issues to begin with. Like,
Yeah, maybe you're right.
they thought
maybe
that
they
was the
are
one thing.
depressed.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the thing keeping them going.
It's not
I
like
guess
that
maybe
one
that's
thing
it.
happens. Like, you know, I have a friend who killed himself. It wasn't. He got, like, DUI, before he killed himself. It wasn't the DUI that made him kill himself. It's depression, and that was just another thing on top of it. That was like a catalyst for him to just do it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think it is.
It's hard to put myself in that position, but I feel like DUI and like I have depression, I have no job.
I feel like
no
both of us
in life. I would still just like, well, at least I can masturbate. I don't know.
We're both very adaptable, and we both also had a good childhood. Like nothing happened to us that has permanently damaged us in our mindset.
Yeah. There are things like,
like there's people, you know, they've been molested or raped or something. Like that's something they think about every single day of their goddamn life. And there's just something that happens to them that, like, you know what, this is it. I'm done living this way.
Yeah. I could see things that were like, not like something that you lose, but something that happens to you that makes it hard to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something you have to constantly live with.
I wonder if that is most of like what really happens, and obviously they're not publicizing that. So
yeah. And some people don't even know it. Like they might never tell anybody, right?
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Exactly.
Well, that went down a dark path.
Yeah, I'm not sure I wanted to learn this, but I think I at least understand that a little more.
Yeah. All right, well, what's the next question? Because I feel like we're both just adaptable, and in the end, like, if I lost everything tomorrow, I'd just be like, this is my life now. What am I going to do with it?
I mean, I'd be sad, sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd probably have a couple days where I'd be, like, depressed, but I would then think, well, now what am I going to do? So what's next?
I'm looking for a good one.
I mean, it seems like we can talk with some detail no matter what comes in.
Spin off these. There are 100. I'm on 25 looking now.
Did you just Google, like, questions to ask, or?
121 deep questions. A lot of them, like, I feel like I have definitive answers, so I'm not going to ask. Like, do you trust anyone with your life?
Yeah. Like, what do you mean with your life, though?
Yeah.
That kind of depends.
You're like... Okay, let's forget this question. Let's say you murdered somebody. There's someone you call that's probably like, okay, I don't need you to ask questions. I need to get rid of a body.
Interesting question. I don't know, because I feel like if I murdered somebody, that's pretty bad. There have to be a, like, if I did it out of passion or something, or for a good reason, it would probably be right now Nicole or you. Like, there'd be somebody I need to talk to. It'd probably be Nicole first, maybe.
Flight away. But
I would probably talk to you like, what should I do? I don't want you to be. I would also try and not say it, just so you wouldn't be incriminated.
Hey Nick, let's have a discourse on what would you do if there's a dead body in your living room and you need to fucking get rid of it and not get caught. Yeah.
And also, should I fuck it?
Here's where I want to spin off this. I have never murdered anyone. Let me put that out there. I have thought I could get away with it. Have you ever just thought, like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't seem that hard. Like, if
I think the smarter you are, the easier it is to get away with.
And I don't even think it's, like... You don't have to be a genius.
I don't know.
Like,
it depends, though. Right?
One, don't carry your cell phone because that shit's tracked. And then that's like 80% of what they're going off nowadays.
But I feel like it's more detailed than that. Because, like... How did the murder happen? Like, was this someone that came over? Now there's evidence they came to your house. Like, was this out in public and people saw it? Like, there's so many factors to whether or not you get caught. Or is this a planned
if it's
murder?
Somebody close and, like, they were at your place, like, that's where it gets hard. If it's a random stranger, super fucking easy.
Yeah. Dude,
if
did
it's
you
someone
watch...
who's slightly related?
There's a Netflix documentary where this guy, like, fucking murdered his daughters and wife.
See, that's easy to find out, because it's like, who else would have?
Exactly. It's almost always the husband, too, that when that shit happens.
Yeah, see, now that kind of thing's hard to get away with, because they'll all know it's you right away.
Yeah. Exactly. Is it easy to get away with a random murder? Yes.
Yeah. But you never want to commit random murders unless you're a psychopath. You want to commit targeted specific murders. Now, if you have a coworker that you've had so much words with and you've gone off, like, you're both shouting at each other, and one of them, either you or he, happens to die, they're going to have a suspect.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
I always thought about, though, if, you know, like serial killers, they always have patterns and stuff. I always thought, like, what if there was, like, a serial killer who literally killed at random? Like, rolling dice, like, phone numbers or something. Like, it would be impossible.
Oh, it's
like
really hard to do. Well, I saw... Do you remember the TV show Numbers?
Yeah.
So they had, like, figuring out the math behind it. At one point they had something like that. And then basically the one actual variable was distance from the guy. Is like, he obviously can't travel, like, 5 days away. Like, he always goes somewhere based on his location. So trying to, like, triangulate it based on where the murders are, he must be located here, I think was the general plot.
Yeah, so, like, if let's say there was a random serial killer in Columbus, that's still a huge range, right?
Yeah. Well, no, because you base it on such a big city. Still, I guess, that's a big range.
If they actually traveled anywhere in
like,
Columbus.
He's not a serial killer until he does, like, 5.
Yeah.
And then you got a pattern.
They also wouldn't know if it's a pattern if you're doing it randomly, too. If it's only just based off of, like, location.
It's really hard to do true random. See, it'll always come down to your location isn't random. Like, you will put, I guess, throwing a dart, like, on a board and being like, it's going to be there. I wonder if you could do it.
Like a map of Columbus and you just throw a dart. Okay, it has to be somebody in this neighborhood. It's like the first person I see, I go to that neighborhood. Like, if it's that random, I think it would be tough.
Yeah?
It'd also be tough.
Zach, you know what? You try it out. Kill about 5 random people with a dart.
All right.
And we'll find out. I think you can get away with it.
Dude, I got a new podcast idea.
If we were serial killers, or we're going to be serial killers, the podcast.
If we were serial killers, I'm not saying we are.
That's a great way to begin a podcast. That's how I begin my dates, too. If I were a serial killer. I'm not saying I am. Would you go out with me?
Would you give me your phone number?
You at least get numbers from the girls. I don't know if you get the right ones.
You get a call, all right.
All right, moving on. Blah, blah, blah. What impression do you try to give when you first meet someone, or what impression do you think you give when you first meet somebody?
That also depends on the setting.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a business setting. I just try to be professional. If not, I just try to be myself.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much there in that question.
Setting is very important in that kind of question. Do you come off as a serial killer?
Yeah. Do you remember your dreams? What happened in the last dream you remember?
Dude, no.
Fucking fades so fast for me. Like, sometimes I'll wake up remembering, basically.
I will, like, sometimes remember, but it usually goes away after a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
The last dream I can remember.
I'm envious somewhat of the people that remember them.
The last dream I can remember, I remember there was... See, I'm already forgetting as I'm saying it. There were spiders and some kind of other thing that I was fighting.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I can remember from it.
Yeah, mine are probably even more vague than that. I remember, like, walking along a really long thing or something. Like, okay.
I would I would like to remember dreams more often, and you can do dream journals, but that's so much effort to remember a dream.
Yeah, see, like I said, like I'm envious of people that can, because like
Yeah.
I feel like after you wake up, it's weird. I remember waking up and thinking the thing I dreamed was really interesting, but I don't remember the actual dream later.
And I remember waking up during a dream and going back to sleep because I wanted it to keep going. Because it was like an adventure. And then I can't remember once I wake up what happened. Like, that dream was just getting going. Let's get this adventure continuing.
Yeah. I want to go. I want to go fight those spiders. I think I'll win.
Exactly. That's why I remember that one, because I think I woke up and sort of remembered and went back because I wanted to keep fighting or keep dreaming about it.
I'm going to kick that thing's ass.
This fight's not over, yo.
Yeah, they say there's like a... What do they call it? What's the
lucid dreaming?
Where like... What? Yeah, where you take control, like... And they say like during real life, just like do... Like pinch yourself during real life and you'll remember like... Oh, that's what a pinch feels like. And then you'll develop that habit and you'll do it in your dream. And you'll realize that there's no pinch or whatever it is, something like that. And then you'll know in your dream that you're in a dream and you do any fucking thing you want.
Yeah, I definitely lucid dream all the time. I just don't remember them.
I don't know. I don't remember enough to remember if I did or not.
See, I remember that because I'll wake up and remember dreams and I'll go back to sleep lucid dreaming and control myself in the dream.
No, that hasn't happened to me. Maybe it did, I just don't remember it.
Yeah, could be.
What's the one thing that should be taught in school that isn't?
Finances.
Finances, yeah.
Like how to actually live life.
What other than because I feel like that's just the common answer.
Well, it's such a, like, essential thing that people aren't taught, right?
Yeah.
That's true. I feel like this is taught, but not enough. But, like, also life essentials, like cooking is taught, but, like, changing a tire and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Just life essentials is what I would call it.
I don't know a lot of these things where it's like, am I really a man? Because I couldn't change a tire if guns to my head. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually know how to change a tire now.
Oh, congratulations.
When I first...
How long did it take you? I still haven't gotten there.
I think I was like 23, so I learned...
Is it hard?
No. So here's how I learned. On my way to Columbus, this was way back when I was dating Trina, so this was a while ago. We're on our way to Columbus.
Dude, you have a phone with Google then?
No. So here's what happened.
I'm impressed. Okay.
Semi like changed lanes and I didn't realize my lane was ending and their lane didn't, and so I kind of got off the road and ran off the road and my tire blew.
Okay.
And so we're kind of stuck on the highway just like thinking what to do, but luckily like a highway patrol officer saw it, came and like what happened. I told him and he's like, you don't know how to change tire? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, I'm going to show you how to. And he literally made me change the tire and that's how I learned.
That's interesting. That like I'm not gonna do it for you, buddy.
Yeah, well,
I like that actually.
I was like, I'm kind of grateful for it now because now I know how to. And when we moved to Columbus, the first time we moved to Columbus, we had 3 flat tires in a year, and I did it 3 times. So now I know how to.
Crazy. Okay.
It's actually not hard at all.
Tires. I think I just called like some towing company or some shit. I don't know.
I think I can tell you in like 30 seconds, and you'll have a general idea.
Okay.
You get your jack, you jack the car up, and to jack the car up, because you don't know where to put it, right? Well, cars have like little like metal blades on the like both sides that the jack goes onto, so you just jack that up. But before you jack the car up, you want to loosen the bolts of whatever tire because they're really fucking tight. And if you do it when the jack's on there, you're going to move the car off the jack. So you loosen them up, and then you jack the car up, and you just take off all the bolts, remove the tire, put a new tire on, and put the bolts back on. It's really easy.
Bolts back on while it's up, or you put it down first, then you put the bolts back
while it's on, while it's jacked up still. You'll tighten them, so you'll put the jack back down, and then tighten the bolts once, it's kind of tight.
Got it.
That way...
Yeah, it's actually not that hard.
Yeah, it's super simple.
But if you've never done it, you'd be like... I have no
it's one of those intimidating things because you've never done it, right?
Huh. It's actually better than jumping a car, because that's happened several times, and I've done it many times, but it's always fuck. Where's the red one go and where's the black one go? I need to Google this because I never remember.
It really doesn't matter as long as the red one on your car lines up with the red one on the other car.
But they say to do it one way when you Google.
Yeah, because you just put the red on red and the black on black.
I guess it doesn't really matter because it's just electricity either way.
Exactly.
Through a wire.
It doesn't matter as long as you have them on the same one on each car.
Okay. Then I think I'm good. 'Cause then it's not that hard. Although, actually, your Cobalt...
Yeah.
It's hard because the battery is actually in the back, so I think there's a specific thing you're supposed to put it on instead.
Yeah, so
manual.
That's what I forget. There's one that you put on the actual battery, and one just has to basically touch metal.
Yeah. But your Cobalt, the battery is in the back, so you can't do that at all.
So it's basically whichever one I can't put onto the actual battery.
Yeah, no, but there's something in the front that is connected to
that's connected to the battery.
Yeah, you actually have to look at the goddamn manual, because you would never know that otherwise.
Oh, yeah, that would suck, because I wouldn't know how to do that.
Yeah, so, yeah, I needed Google for that one.
Yeah, I would have to Google it, but that's the thing about learning some things nowadays is a Google can probably teach you most things you need to know that quickly.
Yeah.
Like to light my pilot light for the furnace. I had to Google that real quick. That wasn't too hard.
The pilot light for your furnace?
Yeah. The pilot light. Because it went out.
I think I did that at Honeysuckle, or at least I tried it, but it was some other problem with my HVAC way back when. My answer to what's the one thing is most people don't know shit. That's the thing. Like, I don't know. No one knows anything.
Teach people that most people don't know everything.
Best guesses. Your teachers, a lot of them aren't that bright. People are just winging it most of the time. At some point when you're a kid, you think like, somebody has all the answers, or somebody knows a lot.
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
Even the smartest guys are just kind of like, they're good at that thing.
Yeah, most smart people are really smart in one specific area.
Yeah. Maybe they got two.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's important to know how to critically think, really. That's all it is. Like, if you have a problem or you have an idea or you have something you want to learn about, can you read something and learn?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. Like, don't teach what to learn. Just, like, fucking pick a random topic, throw a book, and be like, figure it out. That's the thing to learn, how to do that, not, like, specific things.
Yeah. I think I learned so much more from reading that I've done on my own than a lot of college stuff. Barring a few classes that were exceptionally good at teaching you things.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Which
moving on.
Makes a good teacher when you actually learn.
Yeah. There's some that like I would remember why I know X today because I remember the particular lecture.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the most unsettling fact that you can think of? That's an interesting one.
Ooh, most unsettling fact. Ooh, that's a good one.
Your
this one's
body is decaying right now.
I think in a topical sense that I think we're literally in one of the worst times for America. Like, it's only declining every day. I know it feels like that, but I think it's also true.
I think that's true, like, politically, comfort-wise, or politically, like, just...
And wealth-wise.
Hates each other. Yeah, wealth-wise, that's certainly true as fuck. But, like, the poor people today have iPhones. Like, the poor people today are way better off than poor people then.
Yes.
But the disparity is way wider.
But that's what I'm saying. I think people are distracted because they have things like iPhones, but there's certain things that are happening now that I think are going to have a lot of blowback, where people who were way better off aren't going to be, because they might have been like restaurant owners and they had to close their business.
There are so many people that I think work so fucking hard and get nothing for it.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think a lot of people are in that situation right now where
they
might have been business owners and they're going down to like working class.
But Bezos has another layer of cash. Like, I always imagine, like, okay, if you build, like, take $100 bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, build a stack of all the money like Bezos has. Build like a steps up to his stack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that he can walk up. Okay.
What, like stacks of $100 bills, basically?
Yeah, stacks of $100 bills. Build steps up to like the highest height he can go, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, after the pandemic, that just got way higher.
Yeah.
All right. So now he has a much further range to piss on the people down below him. And they have so much less money. Like, It all came from them and went to build the pile so he can get higher to piss down on them.
Yeah, it's just so weird how much money, like, some of those people have. Like, it's so outrageous.
Yeah, that's...
the disparity.
It just doesn't even... Like, because it's not really money is part of what makes it... why it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because they don't actually have the cash. They have stocks that people have bought.
Yeah.
Multiply it by the number of stocks they have. So
technically they have that, but if he tried to sell all that money, he might not technically have that much.
They definitely wouldn't have that.
But he basically has endless money.
I mean, the dude's not gonna... He can do anything he wants.
Yeah.
He might be able to pay people to be like, okay, stay here while I build a stack of money.
Yeah. So that was a TikTok.
And then you're gonna have to... Their little thing will sprinkle down.
Yeah, exactly. That was a TikTok that I just watched a couple days ago, where someone was talking about, people have like comparing a million to billion. And one of the ones he had, I forget the amount. I think it was $5,000. A millionaire, if they gave like $5,000 away every day, they'd lose all their money after like 34 days. And a billionaire was like 340 some years. To show like the difference of what that means in wealth.
Yeah. So you can just spend $5,000 a day for 340 years.
Just giving it to people. Just giving it out. He literally, in his lifetime, couldn't give that much money out a day.
Yeah. So my answer to what is the most unsettling fact.
Yes.
I always thought it was that there's no point in any of it.
It's kind of all up to you to make the point, right?
No. Yeah, but still. There's just nothing. Like, nothing you do ever matters. You will be dead and forgotten no matter what you do. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing in the end. I guess this is part of being an atheist. It is at some point. You just gotta accept there's no point to any of it. If you ask why, like, why this, why that, and you just keep going back, the answer is it doesn't make sense in the end.
Yeah.
Like, none of it does. Like, it's all absurd.
It is very absurd.
Why is there something rather than nothing? You can't answer it. Like, reason can't go there. There's nothing. Like, there's no point.
Yeah. I don't know. It's true.
That's unsettling to me. That's always been unsettling to me. But there's nothing you can do.
I think it's unsettling.
Yeah, well, fuck it. I'll do whatever. Anyways.
I think it's kind of your view on it. I think it's... I get that it's unsettling. But also, like we were just talking about, like, you and I both had, like, we're adaptable. We can't understand killing yourselves. But we also have that viewpoint, right?
Yeah. This is weird to have both, but...
That's why...
Yeah.
I feel like the point is you have to make a point for yourself. Like, in the end, it's just trying to find some kind of happiness.
But if you ever try to say why is this making you happy, and then you just keep going down the whys, and it's...
Yeah, but I don't have to explain why something makes me happy. It just does.
I just have an overactive brain, and I always have to try to think of why.
I mean, in the end, all of it just means because evolutionary speaking, because it made us fuck more and have more babies, so that's why.
Yeah, that's true. But why? Like in the end, it won't even matter. Like in the end, the universe is gonna end, and none of it will have. Like it will all be gone.
Yeah.
Like none of it will have mattered. It will like physically, the universe will end at some point, and nothing that has ever happened will have ever mattered. Like it'll all amount to nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that is an unsettling kind of fact.
That's a fact. Well, I think it's a fact. Some religious people beg to differ, but
it's not a fact you can prove, but it's more provable than other facts.
Yes.
And also explains why people are religious.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I somewhat envy religious people. Is like,
yeah.
I just want that part of my brain that keeps asking why. Oh, there's no point to just. Can I just cut that part out and be like, hey, I like God?
Yeah. That's why, like, even when people, like, argue a religion or why don't you try it, it's just like, I can't cut off the part of my brain that, like, thinks this is bullshit. Like, it's just... Yeah. I can't do that. Like, I can go...
I could if I would. I think there are lots of benefits to religion. I just can't.
Yeah, the furthest I can go is deism, where it's like, a God exists. You can't know anything about it except by studying the world. And everything gets created, but that's it. That's as far as you can get.
Yeah.
Anyways,
all right, you want to keep going? We're at an hour 20.
Yeah, because 20 minutes is I was trying to think of a topic.
Oh, you're right. 21 was bullshit.
Yeah. At least one or two more.
Are there any bridges you're happy you burned?
Bridges I'm happy I'm burned. I don't know if I really burned a lot of bridges.
You know, I just never keep bridges open. Like, I'm never on Facebook, or like once I've leaving a place of employment, like I want to keep in contact with them, mostly because they'd be good references. But like, even if I was friendly, I usually never talk to them again. I'm really bad at that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really
burn them.
Yeah, I don't burn bridges.
Do you maintain bridges?
A little bit.
I think you probably do because you're more social.
Yeah, with like friends and stuff.
I had college friends. I haven't talked to them in a decade.
I feel like most bridges I have fade. They don't burn.
Yeah. See, I don't maintain. I put the least effort. So yeah, not much there.
There's like what school specialty or like drug mart or something. Like I don't give a fuck that I burned any bridges there.
Yeah, but you know what's weird is, you burned bridges there.
Mm-hmm.
I never maintain bridges, but I don't burn them either. Like, I never quit school specialty. Even, like, last day, I wouldn't do anything outrageous, like go fuck yourselves. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Like, I never do that. I'll just leave, and then that'll be another bridge that just fades away.
I just literally left.
I like that.
I went on lunch and never came back.
I did that. I will just like not work for the 2 weeks that I'm gonna quit, like barely, but I don't just set them on fire.
Exactly. So school specialty was, I would take breaks to the bathroom when I was bored or wanted to get away from work, and one of the managers literally told me if I take another bathroom break, I'm gone. And so on lunch, I just fucking left. I was like, "Fuck you, I'm done."
Nice. Well, at least you didn't do... I think somebody shipped a cat, if you remember that.
What the fuck? No, I don't remember that.
Do you not remember? I thought you might have worked there then.
No.
I don't remember. Remember they had the dead cats, I think, to dissect?
Yeah.
The
somebody shipped it to some random thing?
Yeah. Someone was disgruntled and shipped a dead fucking cat to a random person.
That's funny.
Always fun stuff.
Dude, we took so much shit from that place. Or I borrowed.
Oh, that's what you... I thought you meant took shit as in, like, they gave you shit because they're...
No.
See,
items.
You didn't get as much shit as me. Do you? Like, it always
Are you
pissed
sure?
me off. No, yeah. Well, a little bit, because I know the specific thing that always pissed me off. Do you not remember the gay dude in charge of...
Yeah, I remember him.
Okay. He did cocaine, and I think maybe you did it with him or something. Should I say
I never did it with him, but I do know he did cocaine.
Okay, yeah. Something. You were cooler with him.
Yeah.
it always pissed me off that you wore your iPod, and he sit there and came and told me to take mine out, but you wouldn't tell you. Like,
Yeah,
it was always just like, that is... Oh, because it pissed me off so much. Because it's like, it's clear, like, it's just based on... I don't know.
Who he doesn't
maybe
like.
he doesn't like me because I don't, like... I dress too straight-laced or something? I don't know.
Did he not know we were brothers, maybe?
I don't think he did, because I didn't know... You're the one that told me that, like, that's the reason he let you use your iPad, because, like, you were cool with the guy. Yeah. And, like, he would always, like, go and tell me, you're not allowed to have it, you take it out. Because the place where they drive the little forklift things...
Yeah, because it's dangerous to have them in.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And, like, yeah, even if, like, can you put one in and I can hear them? No. Like,
Illegal.
He was just an straight-up asshole to me. And, like, it's, like, yeah, like...
See, this is...
Do cocaine, I don't care. But I think some people think I'm not like that. Like,
they
like
probably
just
did not
do
think
cocaine.
that.
Fucking do all the cocaine you want.
This
like,
is that
think
social
I'd be
aspect you
anti.
lack. Like,
Yeah.
I can talk with people enough to where they're like, oh, he's not going to tell me for doing cocaine in the bathroom.
Yeah, no one's ever been like, hey, man, I'm going to do cocaine in the bathroom. You want a line?
I mean, I think
Maybe
back when I worked...
went school specialty, but some of them are just so crazily out there.
Yeah.
That guy with the Jesus tattoo, I think he talked to me a lot about drugs. But he would I think he would go into church and talk to a preacher about all the drugs he's doing and ask him if he wanted to do a line.
Exactly. I think back when I worked there, too, I had my long hair, so he probably just like immediately thought I wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Where did we get this from?
Good question. I don't remember.
I don't either. That doesn't matter.
All right.
Bridges. I never burned a bridge in school specialty. But I was halfway tempted to burn one because of that asshole.
Yeah.
And I don't remember why we went off that, but I do remember that.
That's funny. All right, well, let's do one more question. I think we can end it off.
All right. Let me try to find a good one.
Good one.
Some of them we've actually already talked about on the discourse.
Yeah. See, this is my problem with every job I've ever had, like school special and everything. They just eat away all my creativity time.
Yeah.
All the time to do things I want to. Yeah. It's such a mindless job. What's funny now is that's like a Amazon style job.
Here you go. Here's one since you're talking about it. Is it possible to be too creative to the point of insanity?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think some of the crazier things are like.
Yeah.
I somewhat think like when I feel like I'm being creative, saying funny, crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
that's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm having fun being creative, and like the crazier it gets, I think the funnier it gets. Like that's why I like the idea of Mike Pence pulling out the briefcase and counting votes, because it's just so fucking crazy. But what's crazier about it is that it's not 100% implausible.
Yeah.
like
I think absurdity breeds creativity, right? Sometimes it's what you got to think like. Absolutely not. Like, I've seen schizophrenics draw and stuff, and I think sometimes craziness breeds.
But maybe it's because we haven't gone that far.
I don't know.
Like, Van Gogh cut his fucking ear off. Do you think that's maybe like...
But
he's a
I don't think that's from
man,
creativity going too far.
Are you
I think
sure?
that's a fucking... just a person being mad. A crazy person.
But... Well, I guess it's which came first.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like... he was an insane person, and like it depends on how you define insanity. Like, insane in the way that he didn't think about anything the way other people think about them.
Yeah.
Right? And that led to him cutting his ear off, and that led to great paintings.
Exactly, but I don't think his creativity was what caused that. I think he had good creativity because he thought that way.
Yeah. So I think insanity comes first.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you feel like you're a creative, it's probably because you're a little fucking insane. And I think that's true.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a little truth to that.
I think the most creative people are the people that, like, are right on that line between, like, I'm about to snap and just start doing crazy shit that doesn't even make sense to anybody but me.
Yeah. No, I totally get it.
But don't go over it.
Don't cross that line. I think there's always some kind of like weird personalities or something to a person who is creative that breeds creativity, but also breeds other things that's not good at. Like I think I am probably more impulsive than most of us. Like out of you, Josh, and Alan, I'm probably one of the more impulsive people. But that breeds creativity in a way.
Yeah.
But then I have to watch my impulsivity.
Yeah. You may say or do the wrong crazy shit.
Also, I think forgetfulness breeds creativity.
Yeah, I think that's.
I thought that has helped
a lot of my crazy ideas are because, and by the way, I think I've mentioned Scott Adams before. This is where I first heard that idea.
What?
Is like he was saying he forgets everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's a very creative person. Is like, if you like you come up with like, so you never remember the reasoning for everything. So you always have to try to invent it, like
exactly,
come back to it, and maybe you take a different path every time, and you come up with new paths and like that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally think that's true. Like,
yeah,
if I like writing, if I remember everything I wrote, like, I would never want to write again.
Yeah.
Like, well, I've already wrote something sort of like this, so I won't write this one. Also, like, just like stories in general, like every story ever possible has been told in one way.
Yeah.
So like, it's just you have to do it in a new, interesting way, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's going back to not watching movies as much too. Is I feel like seen it. Almost everything I watch, I'm like kind of seen it. It's the same fucking thing, and that's why media. I'm mostly interested in novelty. Like, if they can surprise me, and going back to creativity too, this is why I really started to really love the Eric Andre show. I never know what the fuck that dude's gonna do next.
Yeah,
like it's just, and that dude is.
He is
I don't
absurd.
know if you go insane or creative. He's definitely at some line there.
Yep, he's talked about where he's burned a lot of bridges and stuff because of the comedy he's done. And doing stand up because it's so
absurd. I haven't seen the behind the scenes stuff, but like, I should watch that. Like, because so far I've only seen him be a fucking maniac.
Yeah, I've watched.
It cracks me up.
I've watched like interviews with him, and he's a normal motherfucker when he's doing interviews, and it's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Because it's like
I don't want to watch it because it breaks that illusion.
But I think it gives you insight to like, he's a creative person, and when he's on Eric Andre, he's clearly like, I'm doing the Eric Andre thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he just thinks in really unique ways when it's time to entertain. But other than that, he's like a really safe, like, kind of normal guy. Unless he's trying to entertain.
There was one skit where he even, like, who can pick up the most babies are like, we can't do this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's like done skits where you'll see him and he's just like, I can't fucking, no, this has gone too far.
But I just love the crazy fucking nuts. Like, because I can't, like, I haven't laughed like that much since I was like a teenager. Because like that's the last time things surprised me that much. Not until then, and then I'm like watching this stuff. Like, I don't know what he's gonna do next, man.
Yep. So like, I think his skits are kind of, they're good. A lot. I think the things he does in public is even funnier. But just his basic idea of let's do an interview and try to make the interview as uncomfortable as possible, do weird shit, is such a genius idea in general.
Yeah. They can't get more episodes. It's got to go like Tom Green, right? Like where they all know what he's doing, which is unfortunate. They know who he is. Because it's so great.
Yeah, it has a limited timeline for sure, and it's probably already there, right?
Yeah. What I'd really love to see is like an uncut real interview, like just one.
Yes.
Like pick the very best. I want to see exactly how it went. because I just want to see what their real reaction was.
I've always wanted to see that too, because did I tell you like how long his interviews are?
Yeah. I think you told me they're like hours, right?
Yeah, like an hour or two, and then he cuts it down to like 2 minutes.
So I bet he does like the weirdest, craziest shit only once every like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to completely normal stuff, and maybe they get some reaction shots. Because you can tell they cut the shit out of him. They edit him so much. So that when he says something, maybe sometimes the reaction is the real one, and sometimes... And, like, sometimes the things he does, I don't think the person ever actually saw. They just got a reaction shot, and then they spliced in him doing something so absurd, there's no way... If the person wasn't in on it, they would have been like, I'm out. I'm done.
I don't think that's true. I think people...
Well, sometimes you do see they're together, and they watch them doing the crazy shit.
Exactly, and there's been people that have walked out of the interview eventually. So.
But if you watch some of the times, like, you can tell that basically he does some crazy shit, and it's only the camera on him, and then they cut to a reaction.
Yeah, so... On interviews,
that I don't think happens.
He's also talked about on interviews, people try to walk out multiple times during the interviews, and people will come up like convince them to come back. So they don't show that where they like walk out and then they bring them back in and like we're almost done. Sorry about that. Blah 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 blah. They say anything to just get them back in the seat.
See, that's the kind of thing I want to see.
Exactly. I do want to see like. Here's interviews unedited, like at least one or two, just to see like the process.
Yeah, because it's just
probably
part of,
fucking
like, how do
absurd.
people react? Like if I didn't know this was a thing and I was brought on there, how would I react if like he jumped up and just started shoving eggs up his ass? Like, I think happened in an episode, or he started putting something up his ass. And you just think, like, how do they stay? Or, like...
Well, he's even had, like, Jack Black on, who he was a friend, and Jack Black kind of knew the idea of the show. So, in a way, Eric Andre had to do he knows the show, so how do I make somebody uncomfortable that kind of knows what the show is? So he had to do, like, unique things.
I haven't watched it, don't tell me. I would be surprised.
I don't even remember. But there's things like that where people kind of knew the gist of what the show is. So he has to do more absurd things or, like, target what will make this person who's normally not uncomfortable for things uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think I remember, like, Seth Rogen. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that he knew, but I'm pretty sure he knew, because I feel like Seth Rogen would be the kind of guy that would know, right? Just
exactly.
Stoner. So he comes out and, like, Eric Andre's dick is just out.
Actually,
like,
that's what I'm thinking of.
That's the start of the interview.
Not Jack Black. I was thinking Seth Rogen. That's the one who was a friend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, it seems like he had to have known. Number one, it would just be his sort of thing.
Yeah.
Number two, he seemed even crazier.
Exactly. He has to up the ante for people like that. Did you see the one with what's the guy's name? He did like the SNL skit, like the Lazy Sunday Chronicles, and
no, I haven't seen that one.
He's on 21 Jump Street.
I know who he is.
Not 21 Jump Street. Well, anyways, that Adam Sandberg, that's his name.
Yeah.
He like is basically like Eric Andre's double, and then like Hannibal Buress has a double, and like they're repeating things and doing what they do. And then, like, Eric Andre whips his dick out, and, like, Adam Sandberg looks at him and is like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not whipping my dick out. Because he's supposed to be mimicking everything he does. So I feel like no matter what, he tries to make people who are even in on it, like, how can I get them to the point of where they're uncomfortable?
They're like, no.
No, I'm not doing that one. All right, well,
so
that's
was creative.
Good one to end it. We definitely need to get on...
things you probably shouldn't know.
Yeah, stuff you shouldn't know. Because we need to mimic the Stuff You Should Know podcast line.
No, I like it better, things you probably shouldn't know. I don't think you should be so obviously ripping them off.
So obviously. Stuff you shouldn't know.
Things you... there should be an adverb. Definitely.
Things you definitely shouldn't know.
Maybe we can workshop it, but I think it shouldn't just be things you shouldn't know. That's
Okay.
too
We need to
blasé,
work
too much to just take the thing that exists already and then just.
Well, I
change
thought that
the
was part of
should
the
to
ride the
shouldn't.
coattails part.
Oh, come on. People aren't that dumb. They'll figure it out.
True.
It's a little more interesting, I think.
All right. Well, we should have a day where we workshop.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. I'll text you.
All right.
Send this to me.
All right, we'll do.
All right. Later.
Later.
I wanna know.